Brian Tracy says the foundation of all success, both personal and professional, is clarity.
It gets to that question that we've talked about, like what you start with your coaching clients is, what do you want?
The approach to clarity that we're using today is the difference between nouns and verbs.
A verb requires action, and action is what makes things happen, right?
You can't hold anybody responsible for a noun.
When you delegate a task to somebody, the title of that task should always begin with a verb because it's an action.
Who does what by when?
Did I start these things with a verb, or are these just nouns that are listed and they're never going to get accomplished because they're just nouns?
Real things come from action. That requires specificity and it requires verbs.
Expert advice, practical tips, real-life stories. Have less stress, more time, and more money in your business. Welcome to the Cash Flow Contractor.
Martin, it's cold in my office. Heat was turned off overnight. I'm wearing a jacket for this podcast. It's been a mild winter overall.
I know.
So
It was 2 weeks ago, it was 80 degrees.
it's crazy. My good friend wrote a little impromptu song on the ukulele called It's 75 on Christmas Day. And he has little funny things in there like, no, I don't live in LA, but it's 75 on Christmas Day. And then blowing my nose for allergies on Christmas Day. And
Yeah.
just putting on my sun lotion on Christmas Day. So anyways, all right. You're leading this one, getting clear. You had something about clarity being the foundation.
Well,
Explain that to our listeners.
I think they probably heard me before too, that Brian Tracy says the foundation of all success, both personal and professional, is clarity. Right? And that's true. It's so.
Yeah, that gets to that question that we've talked about, like what you start with your coaching clients is, what do you want?
Yeah. And that is a place, well, we haven't said it yet, but the approach to clarity that we're using today is the difference between nouns and verbs. Nouns being the name of something, a car, a brick, or Khalil, and a verb meaning it's got some action, right? Going to build, going to sell, going to call, that type of thing. And most of the people, when we talk about goals and planning, tend to use nouns. It's a list of things that they want to have. More sales, right? More customers, another office. So it's okay to have one level of nouns where you say, this is what we want. But after that, we have to get into things that we do, action that cause it to happen.
So
Okay.
basically, it makes sense. A verb requires action.
Yeah.
And action is what makes things happen, right? So
Yeah.
It makes sense that a verb would actually lead to something rather than a noun being just stating it. That would be talk and not walk. So
Well-
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, just using this actually has a verb in it. If I say we need better marketing, that's a weak verb because need is not
Marketing.
something you're going to go do. But
Yeah.
we need better marketing. Well, what's that mean, right?
Yeah.
Our goal is higher profitability.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what's that mean? And we're going to focus on customer retention. We've lost too many customers. What's that mean? We're going to do a digital transformation. We're going to go from Martin Holland, who's still keeping paper notes in a white 3-ring binder. We're going to go all digital, right? But nouns let everybody nod along, agree, yeah, that's what we want, without having to do anything or take responsibility. You cannot, I think, hold anybody responsible, including yourself, sitting all for torturing the people you work with, but you can't hold anybody responsible for a noun, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Should I say, well, verbs, they require subject. Who's doing this? You need to call 10 people every Thursday morning, or call everybody within 2 hours of any customer complaint. Sales pipeline report is due to ops every Friday by noon. Stronger margins. Instead of saying that, you say prices increases have to go up by 8% starting Monday. So raise prices 8 cents. I use the need word. I said, that didn't sound very Clear? No, but we're going to raise our prices. We're going to do this. We're going to stop doing that. Those require verbs. Anybody agreeing with this idea that verbs are action, verbs tell you what to actually... I've always said that at the end of every coaching session, maybe even at the end of every podcast we do, if we do it right, there's something you can actually go do. It's great to have a goal. It's great to think about things. It's great to learn new things. But what are you going to actually do? And one of the things you can do, it's a little exercise I wrote out here, is take some noun-based goal and force it into a verb. So, for example, growth. That's our goal, is growth.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do to make that into verbs?
You'd start, rather than starting with growth, you'd start with a verb.
Right. What would verb?
So we are going to, close 10 new projects.
Perfect. Efficiency. We want efficiency.
We need to, if we're going to be efficient, we are going to cut days to build by 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a goal. Innovation. We're the innovation company.
Use AI every single day for every employee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and launch 2 new projects or 2 new products. Quality. We want quality.
Yeah. 0 callbacks.
Perfect.
This quarter.
Perfect.
That's not a verb. 0 is not a verb, but yeah.
Well, it could be a verb.
Yeah. But I think it's important here, I get what you're saying. And I say this all the time, when you delegate a task to somebody, the title of that task should always begin with a verb because it's an action.
Yeah.
But you're also saying something else here. Like, it's important to get specific. It's not just about starting with the verb, because I can say, instead of growth, I could say, close more deals,
Yeah.
And that starts with a verb, right? Or like win new business. You have to get specific.
100%. And one of the things about using verbs is that they tend to tell you whether or not you're being specific. Mm-hmm. Your example is perfect. We're going to close more deals. I'm going to make 10 phone calls every morning to customers from our A-list and our CRM.
It reminds me of like that exercise of asking why 5 times, but even just asking how 5 times or 3 times, whatever it is, will help you get to that point of being more specific. Because that's part of the problem. Communication isn't just about only using nouns instead of using verbs. Like, you need to use more verbs in your communication. It's that you've got to be more specific. I think we were just talking about an example of somebody training somebody and not being specific enough and not setting up the other person for success, and then leaving the training and delegation aspect of the meeting and saying, I don't think they're going to get it. It's like, yeah, no shit. You didn't.
Yeah, they're not.
You didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It's got.
Yeah. No, it's an action. I read another thing, and I don't really know how to interpret the data, but I'll tell you what it says. It said, when instructions are given using more verbs, and it was a study done, right? I found it on chat, found it for me. And very specific, it was a meta study where they looked at a whole bunch of other studies. Mm-hmm. And they said, is this significantly different doing one thing over another? And it had some data given as a D of 0.6. I go, what the heck is that? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I did all that. But basically it means when people are given instructions using verbs, they get 35% more done than if it uses nouns.
That's great.
Sales. We're after sales. And it's because I know what to do. If somebody told me, go make sales, I'm panicked. I'm out of here. I don't even know what you're talking about. They go, look, go to this page on this deal, and there's a script there. Dial somebody and read that script, and you're going to get, but anyway, specifically, I can do that, right? And that's our responsibility as leaders to provide that for people.
Well, but the only thing that I want to say on that is, yes, you need to provide that. I don't know. There's things that come to mind here because I'm literally in the process of not getting into the specifics too much with some of the people that report to me because
Of how?
of the how, because I introduce complexity. And if I'm telling people how to do things, I'm in the middle of the process. I'm mucking up the process. I'm getting involved. And reality is I actually just need to define what the end state looks like. I need to tell them, hey, let me give you an example that is actually what we're doing right now. So we recruit talent, right? One of the things that I have right now is I'm trying to develop a talent pool, right? Of, hey, someone reaches out, they want to hire somebody. We have a talent pool, but it's really like an internal thing. We need it to be an external thing that people can go and look at the talent pool really easily. And so, hey, the end state for this, you're developing the talent pool for our customers. The end state for this is that there is a link that you can send to a customer and they say, I want to interview these 2 people. Until that happens, you have not completed this task. You know it's done when you don't have to scramble to find everybody and put them into the document and send it over. No, you can just grab the link, share,
But
and they get back to you.
What is the you did it or did no go on that?
I
link
can't,
being sent.
if I can't click on the link and say, I want to interview these 2 people in the
wasn't
easiest
done.
way possible, like I don't have to like fill out 5 forms and I don't have to wait for 2 days to get you to get back to me. If I can click on this link and I feel good about, oh yeah, I understand how this works. I can watch the video of the candidate. I can read the resume. I can do what I can see the bullet point summary and then say, hey, I want to interview John Smith. Until it's at that point, you are not done.
Okay. And I think we're talking about different levels of personnel too. Some people
Exactly.
need
So that's
very
exactly what I was going to
specific-
get to. There's people,
But
Yeah.
you still have to have a specific, achievable, measurable objective. Did we do it? Yes
Absolutely.
or no?
yeah, develop a talent pool with 7 candidates minimum
There
by
you go.
this day is the objective. And that's what we were just talking about this beforehand, Martin. That's what I think COPE is. The acronym COPE: context, objective, plan, and end state. So context being, hey, we're trying to hire more people and we want to be able to operate faster. Currently, we send candidates one at a time, whatever the context is. The objective is we want to develop a talent pool with at least 7 qualified candidates by the end of the month. Okay?
Right.
The plan is, and this is the specifics, I would only say in the plan that the things that I think are required. You need to create something that is linkable, that is a quick link. These are my requirements, right? You can use any tool that you want to as long as it's free. Okay? Then inside of the link, I should be able to watch a video, I should be able to see a resume, and I should be able to read a summary. Okay? Like, this is my plan. And then the end state is, I know it's done when we have a client request something and we can immediately get back with a link and they can come back and say, I want to interview X and X, and
These people.
it's done. That's when we know the talent pool has been developed, right?
Yep.
Quick ad break, contractors. I want to tell you about Quo, formerly OpenPhone. I see something all the time. A customer calls in, they talk to one person on your team, and then they call back later and get someone else, and they have no idea what's going on. What do you do when you have a frustrated customer and your team is scrambling to piece it all together? It's just another fire for you to put out. Quo fixes all of that. It's an AI-powered phone system. Your whole team shares one number, or they can have their own individual numbers, but they can see the full call history. They can listen to call recordings, they can see automatic transcriptions, and even AI summaries of exactly what was said. You can tie it into your CRM too, so now the customer info isn't scattered all over the place, it's in one single source of truth. If any of this sounds appealing to you, check out the special offer in the show notes just for our listeners. Thank you for listening. Back to the episode.
So now you haven't told them the specifics of how to do it. I think there are other people that definitely need that.
And I was just having a conversation with someone, I don't know what his title is in the military, but he's in the Navy and he's got pretty high ranking and oversees like 40, 60 different people, something like that. And he said, 70% of the people that are going to be underneath you are not going to do anything until you tell them to do it. And they're still probably not going to do it the way that you want it, regardless of what information you give them. It's just how it is. And he's in a unique position because in the military, you can't just like, okay, you're fired. Yes, you can go down that route, but it's very laborious and bureaucratic. So you're kind of stuck with who you got. 20% of the people are you're going to tell them what to do, and they're going to do it exactly how you want to do it. And they do a great job at it, right? Like they're ready to work. You just got to tell them what to do. 10% of them are going to take the initiative to tell you what they need to work on, right? What I'm talking about in terms of what I'm trying to do is I'm working on my team, and those are 10% people. They have the initiative. I need to get out of their way, and I need to just tell them direction, right? And then they can figure out how we get there, right? I do have people on my team that are in the 20%, and I think that every company needs 20% people that are.
Let's dive in a little bit to direction.
Okay.
Direction can be north, which is a noun,
Yes.
which isn't doing it. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to give them your duty. If it's a complex task like designing a new jet fighter or doing some software, where ambiguity reigns, but you still need to say, we will develop 4 strategies by Friday.
Yeah.
For review. It still needs the who does what by when.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when I tell people all the time, when you send an email to a group of people to get something done, you send it to no one.
Yeah.
You have to send it to the person and tell them to have it done. Give them an objective. Report back to me on the status by Friday if it's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
But in reading up on this a little bit, he was talking about teams resist the use of verbs, which I really hadn't thought of, but it brought up the subject. He was saying verbs are specific. You can actually fail at a verb.
Yeah, you can.
Right? Do better. Improve performance. You might fail at it, but who's to say, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gets blamed for not achieving synergy, right?
Quality.
But for not achieving quality, because same thing is too ambiguous. Planning process with nouns starts to vagueness. It's vague. It's not specific. It's not. So I stand up and leave this room. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Strategic priorities. Saying something like that lets everybody assume their project made the list. It's not. So there really are. I was just thinking about it from a standpoint of we want people to take action. There is a great deal of benefit that comes from thought, but real things come from action. And we have to prioritize that. And that requires specificity, and it requires verbs.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I think this is a great time for people to be thinking about this because we're in the new year. Sorry, I got to speak closer to the mic. This is a great time for everyone to review their annual plans that they've recently created or created last month, whatever it was, or even just revisiting the thoughts that they had that they didn't write down. But go back and say, hey, was I specific enough? Did I start these things with a verb, or are these just nouns that are listed and they're never going to get accomplished because they're just nouns? I think
and I hadn't realized until today that there are really weak verbs that are not action verbs, like need.
Yeah.
Technically that's a verb, but that doesn't. So we got to refine it. We got to use action verbs.
Action verbs. And you said something too. It's like, who will do what by when is the question that you have to answer for everything.
Who does what by when? Yeah.
Who does what by when in an action verb statement? Yeah. If you can do that, man, you've got clarity.
People will execute, or they'll give you the reason they can't and quit. Because if you say catch a rocket booster back in the launch pad, by May of this year, anyway, I've heard some stories that nobody quit, but people turned white when Elon Musk told them that. And then there it is.
There it is.
There's some action verbs involved at that guy's outfit.
Yeah. It also reminds me, core values are nouns a lot of times, and they need to be verbs or they need to be phrases, in my opinion, because it makes them stick more. Just like our core values, and I don't know that they're all necessarily verbs, but they're phrases that mean something, right? Together is better. Celebrate good times. Just be real. Change is certain. Like these phrases that we have internally at our company, they're very easy to point to because they mean something. When I change our planning for what we're going to do because it didn't work out and hey, we learned something, we're pivoting, change is certain, right?
Yeah.
When you made a mistake that, you sent something to a customer that shouldn't have been sent, or you said something, hey, just be real with me. We're only going to move forward and learn from this if you're real with me about the mistake. Like, it's much easier to point to instead of saying honesty. Like, you get lost in the sauce there. So anyways, something to think about.
Yeah, one of mine along that line has been a core value of mine and in a lot of my clients, and that's that you meet everybody with a presumption of respect. Okay, that's a little bit soft, but you can also refine it with bullet points, that have better verb or more active action verbs. But yeah, some part of your brain was mentioned in that study that when it's filled with action verbs, it behaves different. You are a different person.
Yeah.
People presume that SEAL Team 6 guys are probably action oriented, right?
Yeah.
I won't name a lot of people who I think are not action oriented, but it's your mindset. You realize I haven't really asked anybody. I haven't given anybody anything they can do. And when they come to me and say, did I complete this successfully or not? I haven't given them anything to say that I can measure them and say, yes, you did, or no, you didn't. And
yeah.
So anyway,
it allows you to be objective rather than subjective.
Right.
Objectively, did you do this or no?
Right.
And if you can't say that to your plans, to your delegated tasks, whatever, then you weren't clear enough.
I use it as an epigraph in my book. The guy who ran Intel for so long. But anyway, President, can't remember. But anyway, that's one of the things he said. At some point, you need to be able to say, and this is processors and ambiguous outcomes and all that. But he said, at some point, you need to look at the results and say, without judgment, did we do it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And the sooner you get to that point, the better things will be and the less waste you'll have.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. Well, get clear. It's a good time of year to get clear and to clarify anything that you've already established. I think that this is a helpful thing just in general. And I know that there's many different ways that you can implement this, but it's also something, if you've got some leaders on your team, it's really good for them to hear some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
As the owner, you can absolutely implement this across the board, but there are people on your team that need to be using more verbs, action verbs, who will do what by when. That let them listen, send this to them, let them listen to it.
You can have at your next meeting, take 15 minutes and require that nobody uses a noun. Everything has to be phrased in form of verbs.
There you
just
go.
to kind of set the dynamic.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, Martin, thank you, sir.
Yep. I will talk to you next week. Who knows whether you need that down jacket or a bathing suit.
Hopefully it's a bathing suit.
Okay, man.
Okay, see ya.
Okay, talk to you later.
Bye.
You made it to the end of the episode, but before you go, if you found yourself thinking about growing your construction business while listening today, I want to share something with you. It's called our 24 Things to Hiring and Training the Perfect Executive Assistant for Your Construction Business. And it's a free guide that we've created. It's not theory. It's what we actually use to help contractors hire the perfect executive assistant. And really, we help you find ways to delegate over 50% of your current workload and get back 20 hours of your time every single week. You didn't start your construction business to just be doing admin work, to be buried in paperwork and endless admin tasks. This is the guide that shows you exactly how to find and train someone who can actually take all that weight off of your shoulders. So this is a real actionable, great PDF that has templates and processes. It's really, really great. And I want you to check it out, even just to get your feedback and how we can make it even more valuable. But I know that you're gonna love it. The link is in the show notes. Please download it. Would love to see how much of an impact it makes on you and your business. Thanks for listening to the full episode. Check out the guide. It's free. No reason to hesitate. No reason to wait. Download it now. And before you go, I just want to ask for your gracious subscription to our podcast. So if you have 2 seconds, it means the world to us. Just subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or if you'd like our weekly newsletter delivered to your inbox whenever we release an episode, please subscribe in the show notes. Every week, we're talking about real strategies on how you can grow and build a profitable construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, and more money. Click subscribe wherever you listen to the show, and thank you again for checking out the Cashflow Contractor. See you on the next episode.